Hey guys, welcome back to another live stream. So I wanted to do something a little different today. I know I normally do get ready with me's, but today I'm gonna be really innovative. I'm gonna do a get ready with me while I'm doing my makeup. I know. So yeah, I don't think anyone's ever done anything like that before. Anyways, I set up donations, and the live stream chat is going on for you guys to interact with. Other than that, let's get started. So going into this, I'll be using my e.l.f. makeup primer, the only primer that I use. Oh, looks like we already got a donation. Thank you, I Love Jelly Cats, for the $100 donation. And your question is, I know you're the mastermind behind The Silent Reaper. How did your production skills develop throughout the making of your film? That's a really good question. A lot of you guys don't know, but I'm actually a writer, producer, and film director. That's a really good question. Next, I'll be going into my next step of L'Oreal Infallible Concealer. So again, that's actually a really good question. My production skills throughout this project have improved dramatically as I went from having little to no knowledge about producing a film to knowing like the overall basics of what goes into creating a movie, taking on all the aspects of the filmmaking process, pre-production, production, and post-production was really challenging, but also a very rewarding experience that taught me storytelling, cinematography, and how to edit. Pre-production, the inspiration for my film stemmed from my interest in psychological horror and slasher films, especially Dexter and Scream. I've always enjoyed crime documentaries, and I wanted to create a story that had elements of suspense, mystery, and some gore. Once I had my rough draft, I began to write my screenplay while understanding that I had limited time, budget, and certain resources. With this, my planning skills have certainly developed, and I began to understand how writers may begin to write a film as I researched that a little bit before I was starting to write. Casting was relatively simple. I reached out to my theater friends from community theater, knowing that they both had talent and the enthusiasm needed to bring my vision to life. So next I'm going in with the Maybelline Fit Me powder. This is, again, the only powder that I use. It's the only powder that actually works. So as I was saying, I just needed two male-presenting people to play the two characters in my opening sequence, Samuel and his victim. I asked my close friend, Aiden Powers, who is also an Aice Media Studies student, to play Samuel while my other friend, Maximus Moyles, played the victim. The casting process helped me understand what I specifically needed to create my opening sequence, further developing my production skills. I had gathered props that would enhance the realism of the opening sequence, such as an interesting looking knife to serve as the murder weapon, which of course we handled with caution. To add some sort of depth to my characters, specifically the victim, since he's only used to foreshadow the protagonist's journey, I used an empty beer bottle and filled it with water, no alcohol, to make my actor look more disheveled and bummy. So now I'm going in with the Rare Beauty Mini Blush. This is really pigmented. I put that in the link in my bio for any of my viewers to buy. So, I also experimented with fake blood in my opening sequence. I used a mixture of corn syrup, red food dye, and cocoa powder to achieve a realistic consistency. Learning to use what I had without spending too much money helped me develop critical thinking skills while continuing to create my film. So for production, I took advantage of my setting, which was just a house. Rather than seeing it as a limitation, I turned it into an eerie backdrop as I selected places in the home that could create suspenseful moments. I used different lighting and shadows, as well as flickering lights in dark rooms to create tension. Filming was both exciting and challenging. Since I was working on my own, I had to be mindful of the framing and blocking while also handling the filming itself. And now I just like to layer my blush with Dior to give me some more pigment on my cheeks, and who doesn't love Dior? So on top of that, I also had to direct my actors. Despite this approach helped me understand the importance of composition and movement. And as for post-production, editing wasn't too difficult as I used CapCut, which is a relatively easy program to use. I've used CapCut before for my own videos for Instagram, so I knew how to use it. And now I'm just using the e.l.f. Brow Lift to help sculpt my eyebrows. Through trial and error, I figured out how to cut scenes effectively, add transitions, and adjust pacing to maintain suspense. I also experimented with filters for certain cuts to try and make the film seem darker. Balancing all three stages of production on my own was a little bit of a challenge, but it allowed me to develop filmmaking and production skills that I wouldn't have learned otherwise. From planning and directing to filming and editing, this project gave me a deeper understanding of the ins and outs of movie making. I'm very proud of how much my skills have learned, and I'm sure my skills will only improve from here. Oh, and looks like we got another donation. Thank you so much, Puppy Girl 107, for the $150 dono. And your question is another one about my movie. How did you integrate technologies, software, hardware, and online into your film? Wow, good questions, guys. So I just curled my lashes off camera so I wouldn't rip my eyelashes out. But to answer your question, throughout this project, I relied on a combination of software, hardware, and online tools to bring my opening sequence to life. Since I was working with limited resources, I had to be creative in how I used technology to enhance the quality of my production. The most important piece of hardware that I used was my iPhone, which served as my camera for filming. I didn't have access to any professional equipment, so I had to use my phone to its fullest potential as I tried out different settings and angles to achieve the best possible production. I also used a ring light, as I'm using now, to control lighting, making sure my scenes were properly lit while also having one of my actors off screen moving it around when needed. And now I am going into my eyelashes with the Milani Highly Rated Lash Extensions Mascara. It's a really long name for a mascara. Anyways, for post-production, again, I used CapCut, which is something I have experience with. Overall, it's very beginner friendly and it allowed me to cut scenes, add transitions, and adjust filters if I needed to. To document my progress and to share what the filming process was like, I used EDU blogs to create a blog about my opening sequence, which was sort of like a personal journal, as well as my graded Aice Media Studies project, so I had to make sure it was good. It helped me reflect on my creative decisions and what challenges I had to overcome. Writing the blogs also helped share my work with my friends in order to get feedback on what I should and shouldn't do, especially because some of my friends have already taken this class before. By incorporating these technologies, I was able to complete my project efficiently with all of the creative visions I had in mind. Even though I had limited resources and budget, I was still able to produce a film that showed me how to edit and film it correctly. And last but not least, I am going in with my favorite lip oil ever from e.l.f. This is their new lip oil in the color Rose Quartz. Oh, looks like we have one more question. Lovebug Forever says, your concealer is too orange for you. Try something different. Oh, look at the time. I think it's time for me to end this live stream. Thank you to everyone who donated, and if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say it at all.